Hello, sleepyheads. So, you can probably hear my neighbor having a conversation on the phone outside. The microphone is picking up a lot of it. So, even though today I was hoping to record an extra long whispered story time today, I am going to pivot and instead I'm just going to do a little update. My voice continues to be a little hoarse, so sorry about the creakiness if you are picking up on that. So firstly, I'm feeling much better since I got my second dose 8 days ago. I think the most persistent side effect for me has been fatigue. That's definitely been the longest lingering issue I've had or symptom I've had. Side effect. Boy, can I sleep this week. All I want to do is sleep, 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 sleep. I've been pretty insecure about my skin recently, just because it's been going through a lot of changes, and I attributed those changes entirely to switching from an oral contraceptive to a hormonal IUD, and in the latter case, the hormones are more localized to your uterus, and so even though the most hormones you're going to be dealing with an IUD are in that first year, because it kind of diminishes over time, because the hormones kind of drop off over time, so they're the strongest when you first get the IUD inserted. But even so, I've been taking an oral contraceptive for a number of years now, and that gets all throughout your body. So I've read a lot of reports that going on to a hormonal IUD off nothing can cause hormonal acne, and going off an oral contraceptive can cause a lot of acne. It can make your skin go berserk as well. So I'm doing both, and the hope is that, there's a kind of bridging effect between the hormones, but that's usually not the case. It seems that my body is just freaked out, is having trouble adjusting to the new situation. So yeah, the thing that I've been saddened to consider is maybe the hormonal birth control, the oral contraceptive that is, was giving me an experience of clearer skin than actually comes naturally to my body. So maybe this is the curtain drawing back and me realizing that I'm gonna have to deal with significantly worse acne and more easily irritated skin in the coming years. Now, one thing that I just realized a few days ago that's making me feel very silly is that about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I started using a retinol product and embarked on the process of legitimately retinizing my skin. I say legitimately because the only retinol I've been using recently prior to this new regimen was a possibly expired Luna sleeping oil by Sunday Riley. So the level of retinol in that was debatable. So I've started using a new product, and I did everything I was instructed. I started first once a week, and I've now worked my way up to only twice a week. So I'm really taking it slowly because it is a higher level of retinol. It's like 1%. So, and I opted to start with that instead of 0.5 because I reasoned that, there's no way of knowing that there wasn't active retinol in the Luna sleeping oil. But given that about 2 years ago I stopped using it because I was getting irritation, and then when I started using it again, I magically didn't get any irritation whatsoever. I think probably at that point it was just blue oil. So yeah, I started with a strong retinol about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So I started with a strong retinol about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And if you don't know, I'm so silly. Retinol is a great product. It's a type of topical vitamin A that has well-documented benefits in the anti-aging category, as well as reliable applications for combating acne and skin tone unevenness and things like that, essentially it just speeds up your cell turnover, so you're sloughing off your skin a lot faster. But the catch is, as your skin is retinizing or being, affected by the retinol and changing how it behaves on a cellular level, and this is the extent of my knowledge. Beyond this kind of introductory level of information, I really don't know a lot about the science behind retinol, so do your own research. But one thing it's known to do in the process of your skin making these adjustments is set off a purging period in your skin. So I'm sure some of you that are acquainted with that, the moment I said, oh, I realized I started using retinol regularly about 4 or 5 weeks ago, you probably knew exactly where this was heading and hopefully had a laugh at my expense. But this phase where your skin actually has more inflammatory issues, it has more acne, more comedones, it actually amps all of that up. So there's a significant worsening of your skin before things start to get better, and it's known colloquially as the retinol uglies. So because I'm a genius, I decided to start using retinol and go through this whole adjustment phase, simultaneously, like at the nadir of my transition onto an IUD, because the first few months are bad in some ways for an IUD, but the skin issues are known to really hit at the 3-month mark and beyond. So I'm right on time. And I decided, why not make it worse? Why not make my skin as terrible as possible? Just to give myself a little treat every day of using like 13 pimple patches per 24 hours. I don't know if it's a little early to be starting retinol. I don't have much wrinkling really happening. But I figure it'd be nice to get things going in a preventive capacity. I don't want to be so afraid of aging, but I also don't want to age faster than I need to if I can just apply a cream a few times a week and slow things down a little. So we're gonna see how that goes. And I think I was trying to do whatever I could for my skin because it was getting worse with the IUD, but not even on a subconscious level did I connect to the fact that I was really ramping things up and maybe it wasn't the best time to embark on my retinol journey, but here we are. Sometimes I can be very observant and I can be good at extrapolating and connecting the dots, and then other times things slip past me for weeks and months at a time, and I can have huge blind spots and be pretty oblivious. So I was putting this retinol on my face. I knew, it's funny how you can know about the retinol purging phase and know that you're putting retinol on your face and know that you're having the worst skin of your life and still not connect the dots. But I think I just already was having some skin issues because of my IUD, so it looked pretty seamlessly like a worsening of that issue, if you know what I mean. Like, it felt like an organic timeline of my skin descending into worse condition, kind of lining up with timelines I'd read about people experiencing with their IUDs, when I did my own research online. So I guess that's one reason it didn't really occur to me. But I haven't really been letting my skin get me down. I think I've had some really low self-esteem moments in the pandemic, as so many of us have, and that was at a time when my skin wasn't giving me any trouble. So I'm just taking things a day at a time and trying to focus on the positives, and beyond that, certainly focusing on what I can control. Because sometimes it's really hard to be positive, but at very least, I'm trying to let go of the things over which I have no power. Okay, I have to go in a moment. So yeah, suffice it to say, one thing I have learned with my skin issues these last few weeks, I don't know how people deal with their skin. I don't understand how people deal with acne without something like this, without some sort of hydrocolloid patch. I've been trying an off-brand recently to try to save money because, on my worst days, on a really bad week, I can blow through 36 patches in like 4 days. So I found a multi-pack that had like 200 patches, but I don't think they work quite as well. My upstairs neighbor is vacuuming again. They really do vacuum every day. And who am I to judge as a compulsive person in my own right? So in a week's time, I'm getting my first manicure in 14 months, and I'm super, super excited. I called and checked. My favorite nail technician is still working there. It'll be so nice to catch up with her, and I'm saving up to give her a really big tip. I did that at the start of the pandemic, and now I'm going to bookend it because, I haven't been a paying customer for her all these 14 months. Which I'm sure she'll understand because, I just haven't been going anywhere to get my nails done. But in the meantime, I found this is turning into like a small favorites video. I didn't mean for that to happen. I found nail adhesive tabs. So essentially they're little sticky tabs you can put on your natural nail and then apply a fake nail. In my case, I have those static nails. And for me, this works so much better than nail glue. I know that for some people, these just aren't it, because there is that feeling of insecurity, like the nail may pop back off. But in my experience, I had that with the glue anyway, and the glue would make such a mess. It would totally trash my natural nails. Whereas these, you can take the nails back off later and reuse the set. So I've actually already worn a set for 3 days and then taken them off. And that's the point when the nail glue, in my experience, would be starting to create issues anyway. Maybe one nail would pop off, but then you would have the glue left behind and you wouldn't have an even surface onto which to replace the nail. So it just would look worse and worse as time would go on, and I'd try to file off little bits of glue and then glue the nail back on. It was a mess. But with these, I already have had a great experience of wearing a set I liked, having them stay on pretty well for a few days, and then getting to just start all over. Oh my goodness. I'm just trying to distract you from the vacuuming. Yeah, so I got to start all over with not just the same set, but maybe replacing 1 or 2, literally the exact same 10 nails. So at first when I pulled the nails off, everything seemed like a sticky mess, but I just focused on getting my nails really clean, and they stayed really healthy. And then the next day I turned my attention to cleaning the false nails. And I realized that with an alcohol pad and just a little bit of rolling, the adhesive came off super clean and the nails were ready to use all over again. So I wish I'd found this earlier in the pandemic. Maybe I'll talk a little more about it in another video because I'm running out of time. So I certainly wish I'd found something like this earlier in the pandemic, and there are just so many in here. So if you like press-on nails, but the nail glue, the mess of it, and I don't know. I know that a high quality glue is going to be more reliable than something like this, But if your number one priority is the health of your nails underneath, and you're just going to be home anyway, so you don't really mind if one pops off. Also, for the record, that never happened to me in the 3 days that I had the set on. At one point, it felt like one of them was wiggling, and I just pushed it really hard, and the bond kind of tightened back up. But I will say, you know, if you just carry an extra tab or two in your purse, if your nail does come off, I imagine with this approach, it'll be really easy to pop back on. Definitely easier than re-gluing the nail when you're out and about. So yeah, I feel like I should have one more little favorite or something. This is my favorite kind of rigatoni. Okay, that's just me being silly. But I'm not lying. That is my favorite. Okay, so this was a super messy, silly, rushed, rambly little video. I'm going to keep filming. I'm going to keep up with my filming schedule to the best of my ability. But of course, you may get silly videos like this on days when the sound environment is just not conducive to a professional final product. Squeaky, squeaky man up there. Shout out to our friend upstairs. Okay, so I hope you get lots and lots and lots of good REM sleep. And as always, I hope all your dreams. And as always, I hope all your dreams are sweet.